What lecture is this? These are brand new slides. These are all mystery slides. All right, this is a 74-year-old white male that comes in for examination complaining about reduced vision. You guys want the lights up or down a little bit? Okay. All right, so what did I say? 70-something-year-old with blurred vision. Okay. All right, this way. Where is the problem at? Okay, it's in the posterior segment, and it's in the macula. Okay, so the next thing you should start thinking about is what? What kind of stuff happens in the macula? All right, macular degeneration. What else have we talked about that happens in the macula? Cystoid macular edema, vitreomacular traction syndromes, macular holes, diabetic macular edema. You could have somebody who's got an inherited disorder that could be in the macula. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is a 74-year-old, so it's an older person. So what kinds of stuff would we be thinking about with them? All right, macular degeneration is going to go to the top of the list. All right, so now, macular degeneration, what's your next thing you need to think about in your flow chart in your computer up here? All right, wet or dry. Okay. All right, I heard through the grapevine that you guys said the midterm was everything was yellow spots. It looked like yellow spots. They all had yellow spots. Okay, we got yellow spots here. All right, so what can be yellow in the macula? Drusen. Okay, so now what's the next thing? What? All right, size and how many? Okay, so what are we thinking about then with size? Smalls, mediums, and larges. That's how we grade them. All right, so these are big boys. Okay, so these are big drusen. Okay, so what's the other name for big drusen? Okay, soft. Okay, they call them soft because the edges are fuzzy when you look at them. So big drusen, large drusen, and soft drusen are synonymous, same diff. Okay, so when we're looking at this, what's our marker that we're grading size by? Okay, vein at the edge of the disc. All right, so there's your vein at the edge of the disc. Okay, how big is that vein at the edge of the disc? Ballparkish. How many microns? 125. All right, so if that's 125 microns, how big are them? Yeah, way bigger than 125. So this is no doubt large drusen. Okay, so what's the next thing we think about when we have large drusen? Okay, you can get fluid with it, so that's back up at the wet and dry thing. Okay, so how are you going to decide if this is wet or dry? All right, neovascularization. All right, blood. Okay, edema. Okay, and exudates. So how do you tell the yellow stuff that you got here from exudates? Okay, you guys remember when I was talking in class about exudates being a bathtub ring? Cha-ching. That was the cash register going off. Okay, so if you've got something that's leaking, it generally is going to spread out in a circle around it. Okay, so it's usually going to be in a circular pattern or a semicircular pattern. So you got something in the middle that leaks out. You can have either leakage. Okay, what are the yellow spots with exudates? Do you guys remember? Okay, it's lipids, some proteins mixed in, some fibrin mixed in. It's a combination of stuff, but it's basically lipids that have leaked out of the blood vessels. They're going to leak out in a circle. All right, does that look circular? Okay. It's kind of here, there, and everywhere. Okay? Okay, you got a whole clump of them in here, but it's not like it's a ring. It's not like it's a ring. So think about it like a bathtub ring, because that's essentially what it is. Okay? Now with a bathtub ring, you can either have water in the bathtub, or you can just have a grungy bathtub that's got a ring around the edge of it. There can either be fluid with it, or there can be no fluid. You still get the ring pattern. You just either have it with or without fluid. All right, does that look like it's in a ring? No. All right, so if you were to see fluid, you're going to have leakage here, and then it's going to get pushed out to the edge is where the exudates are going to be. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so does this look like there's been lipid leaked out of there? Okay, no. Okay, now, the things that you guys were telling me earlier, neovascularization, edema, blood, what is that going to do to the macula when you take a look at it? It's going to do what? It's going to be elevated. So when you guys stick your 78 or your 90 or whatever your lens of the month is up there to take a look, that's where you get this direction. It's going to be elevated to you. Okay, what if you can't tell? Sarah, what do we do when we can't tell? What did we do with the lady that I saw yesterday? I did use my 78, but I'm having her back for an OCT. So if you're not sure, you have her back for an OCT, or you have your patient back in for an OCT to tell whether there's fluid underneath there.
How often are you not sure? Does that come around pretty often?
Not frequently. If you've got a bunch of drusen that are piled up, you can get, the drusen can be thick enough where you can see the elevation. So it's going to make it look elevated to you. Yeah.
Won't you always get an SET anyway?
Not necessarily. I mean, you don't. Not necessarily.
If you saw that on the funnest photo there, would you know that was elevated?
You can't really tell from this. So if you said do an OCT, fine. That's fine. Okay. Anything else that you notice here? And you guys back in the back may not be able to see this. What's the stuff right there? Okay, that's pigment. Okay, so you've got large drusen and pigment. So the pigment is starting to shift around. Okay, so let's say that this is flat when you take a look at it. These little spots that are right there. Okay, for you guys who are in the front, can you see the little dots that are right there? Okay, what are those? They're yellow. Just little tiny spots here. These are drusen too. What's the difference between those and those? Small. Okay, these are small ones. There you go. All right, if you think about a vein at the edge of the disc, how big does a drusen have to be 125 microns? Not that big. It's really pretty small. So unless you have tiny